Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Find us online at thirdsaturdayiNoctober.com, on social media and Venmo at TSIO Pod. If you want to support the show, send us $1 and become a part of our third Saturday in October group chat. We just talk football all day long. Um, also, what am I forgetting? I don't know what I'm forgetting, but I am coming to you today with a solo pod. Just recapping rivalry weekend. I'm finally able to say that, I think. Recapping rivalry weekend, looking to championship weekend and the college football playoffs. Let's get to these games, shall we? My Vols taking on Vandy in 13 seconds, 16 seconds. Tennessee was down. Take the opening kickoff, and Vanderbilt just runs it back untouched. I started sweating. Um, a lot. I know a lot of Vanderbilt fans said, it wasn't even close. Well, no, because there wasn't even a series and Vanderbilt's ahead. Um, I was nervous this game. As I have been for every game this season. Just being nervous. Freshman quarterback, um, a secondary that is new to each other. Uh, just a lot of question marks this year. But Tennessee comes away with the win, 36-23. Uh, Vanderbilt's going bowling though. Tennessee should be in the college football playoffs. Hopefully, hosting a game. Uh, I believe I said if Tennessee hosts a game, I'm gonna be jumping in the Tennessee River. Jared, we need to talk about this. We'll get to that later. South Carolina beating Clemson. Look at this. South Carolina going into this weekend ranked number 15. Defeating Clemson 17-14 at Clemson. Uh, SEC. I love beating up on the ACC, especially Clemson. I don't like them. I There are a lot of teams I don't like. I'm pretty vocal about it, and I'll take the hate. It's college football. We're passionate people. Kentucky really let me down. Oh, I truly believed for most of the year Kentucky was still a good football team. They were just uh, victims of their schedule. Uh, Losing to Georgia by one, I believe. Hanging in there, some tight games. They beat Ole Miss. I believe that was at Ole Miss. Um, but taking on their rival Louisville, getting trounced, 41-14. Just that's unacceptable. I'm sorry, Kentucky. I know it's basketball season. You've just given up. Um, but there's still football to be played. Well, not for Kentucky. Uh, but we'll Kentucky, interesting storyline in basketball. We'll get to that soon enough. Um, but big time losers on the football field this last weekend. The Iron Bowl, uh, Alabama playing for pride here. Uh, man, if they get into the playoffs, what the heck? But beat Auburn 28-14. Um, I mean, I don't know what the spread was on this. I don't gamble, but I use the point spread as kind of a gauge of where people think, excuse me, where people think that these teams are. And Alabama coming away with the win. I think that's what everybody expected. I've seen some good things with Auburn here last few weeks, though. It feels like things are finally starting to click. People, the locker room's starting to buy in. So interested to see how Auburn does going forward. Um, Hope for all the best down the plains. Uh, Battle for the boot, I believe this one is Missouri hosting Arkansas. Missouri winning 28-21. I was pulling for Arkansas. Sorry, Austin Huff. I don't want to see Missouri do well. I don't want to see Missouri, Texas A&M, Texas, or Oklahoma do well. The four newest members of the SEC. But Missouri coming in ranked 21 and winning at home as they should. Um, then Florida. Talk about a team who's kind of putting it together here at the end of the year. Um, Billy Napier, rumors were his seat was getting hot. They come out saying he's our coach, and then the team starts playing like he's their coach. The Gators take down the Seminoles 31-11. It's just been a bad year for Florida State. It's been a bad year for the state of Florida, too. But the Gators getting a win like you would expect a Florida team to win, especially against a down Florida State. Um, I'm interested to see how Florida does going forward, what they're able to do. Um, it, Going forward, are they going to have similar struggles? I don't know what their roster looks like. I don't know what the transfer portal is going to look like. Transfer portal uh, opens next week. So it'll be interesting to see how that all transpires. It's signing week, early signing week. This week, by the way, I believe it starts today. Also, college football playoff rankings come out tonight. Interested to see where all that falls. LSU, Oklahoma, LSU, like Alabama, just kind of playing for pride at this point. Um, Beating Oklahoma 37-13, 37-17. I believe early on this was close. Uh, 7-7 or 10-7, somewhere in there. Um, Early on, and LSU just pulled away and never looked back. Um, and then the renewal of Texas A&M winner going to the SEC championship game. Texas with a struggle win, winning 17-7 over A&M. Um, Fun to uh, see that rivalry renewed. So now we've got Texas A&M. We've got the Iron Bowl. We've got third Saturday in October. We've got the Red River rivalry. Um, Easy for me to say. We've got the Egg Bowl. Um, Ole Miss defeating Mississippi State on Friday, 26-14. There's a reason I left these Friday games to the end. Um, Ole Miss. Uh, I mean, I know it's a rivalry game. You never can tell how these things are going to go. Ole Miss just seems down. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them in bowl season, how they end the year. And the game of the week, clean old fashioned hate. Georgia hosting Georgia Tech. Um, Georgia, I believe, was down 21 in the fourth quarter. Come back to tie it, send it to overtime. Um, Only to send it to an overtime again and again and again. 8 overtimes. Not gonna lie, I was pulling for Georgia Tech. Uh, Georgia was already in the SEC championship game. I was hoping for Georgia to take on A&M in that game, but it's going to be UGA in Texas. UGA winning 44 to 42 after 8 overtimes. Um, that's I turned that game on second half. I think I was looking. I think I saw the score at halftime. Turned it on the second half. Watched most of the second half and watched all 8 overtimes. Stayed up way too late. I know my in-laws stayed up way too late too. Uh, we were kind of all talking about that the next day. Um, but uh, Georgia Tech, they got a good coach who understands that rivalry specifically, being a Georgia Tech alum, and Chris Winkie of Florida State, uh, uh, of Florida State royalty, I guess, winning them a national championship back in '99. Um, which, by the way, people talk about these players who are 26 years old because of COVID. Chris Winkie was like 25 years old, 26 years old when he was a senior at Florida State or junior or whatever. Because I believe he went and played baseball, much like Kelly Washington, Tennessee receiver. There are a few of these players you see that go play professional baseball for a couple of years. It's just not working out, so they go back to school, play football. Um, Kerswinky, one of those, if my memory serves me correctly. Um, but I'll be interested to watch Georgia Tech as one of those teams outside the SEC. What did they do over the next few years? Um, just around the top 25, uh, there's some big games. Did you hear about Ann, Ohio State University, losing to Michigan? And I was talking about this with some people earlier from work. Michigan goes. This game was at the Horseshoe um, in Columbus, Ohio. Michigan wins. They go plant their flag at midfield. Is it the most sportsmanlike thing to do? No. Should the home team get all bent out of shape? I don't think so. You lost. And Ohio State, number two in the country coming in, losing to a mediocre at best Michigan. Like, you had 60 minutes to defend your home turf and you couldn't. And so Michigan goes and plants a flag at the 50-yard line. You've already lost. Just like give it up. Um, if Vanderbilt did that at Tennessee, I'd be like, quit squabbling. Y'all y'all lost. Just give it up. But um, yeah, come on, guys. Also, so Tennessee got help there with Ohio State. Also got help um by Miami. Syracuse pulling out the win over Miami, 42-38 up in New York. That was one that I was watching there at the end. Um, those were really the ones that I was looking at. Also interesting, number 17 Tulane lost to Memphis. Um, so just some games from around the country. Thank you, Ohio State. Thank you, Miami, for your early Christmas presents for this Tennessee fan. Um, so now we've got uh, championship weekend coming up Friday, UNLV and Boise for the Mountain West, Tulane and Army for the AAC. Um, Army 10-1, Tulane now 9-3. Uh, so I think that takes Tulane out of uh the top group of five, the highest ranked group of five um winner should they win on Friday. And then Saturday we've got Iowa State, Arizona State for the Big 12. Arizona State being the Big 12. This is ridiculous. Um, the NCAA can't get anything right, and they should have gotten involved with all this merger stuff. Uh, Arizona State being in the, uh, I guess it's not, I don't know. Arizona to Iowa. I know this is not, one's not traveling to the other, but that's a lot of distance between those two. Um, UGA takes on Texas in the SEC championship. Big Ten. Here's another one where it's ridiculous. Oregon taking on Penn State. Is that Indianapolis, maybe? So Oregon's got to go all the way to Indianapolis. And then for the ACC, Clemson taking on SMU. I don't know if you knew this, that the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex is part of the Atlantic Coast. Who knew? Um, Oregon's also a Midwest state. Um, just if you were wondering, you know, geography. Who cares? Nobody needs that middle school class. Um, I'll be watching these games. There, a little bit of shakeup can happen above Tennessee. Um, should Texas win, how far does Georgia fall? Georgia wins, how far does Texas fall? Who hosts? Really hope Tennessee hosts a game. Um, a night game in Neyland, maybe against an Ohio State. Um, I would love to see it. I think Rocky Top is just going to come unhinged if they get to host a playoff game, first round playoff game. Um, so we'll have to watch these games, see how they play out, and see what happens a week from today when the final college football playoff rankings come out and we find out who's playing who and where. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to this 12 team playoff. I hope you are too. Still seems like there's going to be quite a bit of controversy. Um, so I don't know. Excuse me. I've been coughing all day, and now I hit record, and I I don't know. Uh, but uh, it's going to be interesting to see how the controversy kind of unfolds. Um, but I'm excited. I hope you are too. And I hope you've had fun this season. I hope you stick around. We've got bowl season, still a lot of football left. So there's the playoffs and there's our traditional bowls. We're going to cover it all. Then we're going to roll right into basketball. Um, it's should be a fun year in the SEC. Uh, I, basketball, I guess it's kind of chaotic. Um, because you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get in and then make a run. So we'll see how all that plays out. But we got football to talk about first. Um, thank you for hanging with us this season. If you'd like to find us online, go to thirdsaturdayinoctober.com. If you'd like to find us on social media at TSIO Pod. If you'd like to support the show at TSIO Pod on Venmo, send $1, send $2, send $10, whatever you feel like. Send us $1 and become a part of our Saturday TSIO chat. We'd love to have you. We talk football all day long. We kick it off in the morning during college game day and carry it through until the last of us just kind of fall asleep watching football. It's a great time. Would love for you to be a part of it. Um, as I like to say here, heroes come in all sizes. And roll Vols, baby.
Tailgate, pancake, living room, pre-game, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip.